Tapia, which did get introduced this morning. So, yes. We should have a bill number tomorrow, so maybe we'll tweet out that bill number for you. So you have it, they assign it at the end of the day. So thank you, Senators Cochran and Cardin, for getting that in today. Yeah. All right. So that's all I wanted to say. Make sure we're on the same page on the ask. When we break up, Andy and Darren and Ken and I will be here to answer any questions you have before the meetings. So thanks again, and I'll turn it back to Andy.
Thank you, Karen. And now, it is my distinct pleasure and honor to, for the 14th time, probably, introduce Stephanie Vance from Advocacy Associates. Advocacy Associates is an extraordinary operation for us because they help with all the scheduling, with the meetings, making sure that we've got the right contacts, the database and the app that they have. The app is a really extraordinary tool, really helpful, will help you immensely during the day tomorrow. And Stephanie's not only renowned within the bicycle community, but throughout the association world. She does an extraordinary amount of work doing this. She knows this stuff inside out from firsthand experience, from all the stories she gathers and the teaching she does to the entire association community in the United States, if not internationally.
The universe.
The universe.
Yeah.
She is a real talent, and it's
the
a real
Milky Way.
It's a real pleasure and an honor that we would have her back again for this year's National Bike Summit. Stephanie Vance.
All right, thank you.
Did I redeem myself?
You sort of redeemed yourself. All right, well, I can't believe I've been here for 14 years because I must have started when I was 12, right? Yes? Come on, you guys know how I feel about this. Come on, give me a little bit. So I know how many people have, I know many of you, if not most of you, have done this before. Raise your hand if you've done this before. All right, awesome. So you guys know how super cool and exciting it's going to be. And who's just laughing at that? All right, did you embarrass me last time? I feel like I remember you. Okay, no. If you're going to do anything that will embarrass me, like don't tell people my name, all right? But I know if you've done it before, you're going to continue to have a great time. It's great that you're back. And for those who are the National Bike Summit virgins, I know that you're going to really just have some great meetings, and you're going to, I know you're going to want to come back next year because I was just talking to someone who was asking me, what can I expect? And you can expect someone to meet with someone who, first of all, is 12, so that's good, but who really, really wants to have a meeting with you and wants you to like them because they're politicians and they want you to like them. So if you've, how many people in the room have had a conversation with a human being? Hopefully all of you. Some of you not so much. But if you've had a conversation with a human being, you're going to be able to do this and it's all going to be fine. So usually what I do, as you know, I have a short quiz because it's fun. At least I think it's fun. I don't really care what you guys think. And so we're going to do something a little different this year. There was a survey that was done, and I mentioned some of it last year, but we're going to do a little bit more of it this year. So there was a survey that was done that was asking people randomly what they preferred, Congress or something else, which we're going to take a look at. And there were several things that they asked those people. Do you like Congress or meth labs? And there's a whole list of them. There's a list of 10 of them. So what I want you to do at your tables is I'm going to give you each of these, and you decide if it's which one is better, which one they liked better, Congress or the thing that I'm saying up here. And then we're going to, at your tables, you're going to do that, and then at the end, you're going to tell me how many you got. And the first table, it means jumping up and down and screaming, who tells me they got 10, I'm going to make a $50 contribution to the charity of your choice, as long as it's not one I hate. We can have a conversation about that. And if no one gets 10, then we'll go to 9, although if no one gets 10, I'll kind of judge you, but don't worry about that. All right, so at your tables, have come to an agreement. What do people prefer, meth labs or Congress? Okay, hopefully you've come to an agreement. Here's the next one. Do they prefer meth labs or being stuck in traffic? You got to write these down because you're going to tell me at the end how many you got. Okay, here's the next one. Do they prefer Congress or colonoscopies? And here's the next one, Congress or zombies? Congress or twerking? And I'm not going to twerk, I'm just going to put that out there right now. Okay, Congress or root canals? Congress or Genghis Khan? And you don't get to say that some of the members are like Genghis Khan. All right. Congress or Kim Kardashian? Congress or serial killers? And Congress or hipsters? You don't know yet. I haven't told you the answers. You got a penalty on that one, I gotta say. Nevada is the gambling state, so you guys should know better. All right. So you guys ready for the answers? All right. Meth labs. Congress is more popular than meth labs. Sad news for Breaking Bad, but there you go. All right. Congress is less popular than being stuck in traffic. So this might be part of our problem, right? People prefer to be stuck in traffic to dealing with Congress, except you guys, because you are the bravest people I know. All right, colonoscopies. People prefer colonoscopies to Congress. Zombies. People prefer zombies to Congress. Twerking. People prefer Congress to twerking. I kind of think that's a little bit redeeming of the American people. All right. Root canals. People prefer root canals to Congress. Genghis Khan. People prefer Genghis Khan to Congress. Just a little scary. Kim Kardashian? Congress wins over Kim Kardashian. People would rather be in a room with Genghis Khan than Kim Kardashian. Serial killers. Congress wins over serial killers. And hipsters. Who wins? Hipsters win over Congress. Okay, so who got 10? Ooh, who got 9? Yeah! Utah wins. All right, so tell me the charity when we're done. You don't have to tell me right now, because it might be weird and we don't want to get into that. And you get a $50 contribution. So, round of applause for Utah. Iowa's waving. I heard. I didn't hear yelling over there. And they're Iowa, so they've got those caucuses going on. That might be kind of important. Sorry, Iowa. It's completely arbitrary, and I get to pick. So, all right. So what does this tell us? What's the lesson? You should be hipsters, which is pretty easy for a lot of people in the room, right? No, actually, the lesson is that legislators are really on the lookout for opportunities to support sensible, nonpartisan ideas that will impact and positively impact their constituents, all right? So this is what I always love so much about what you guys bring to the Hill. It's nonpartisan. You always get, both sides of the aisle supporting you. They're sensible. And given how people feel about Congress, they are very much looking for those things. Now that you've learned all of that, please don't go into the offices and say, hey, I hear that colonoscopies went out over you. Here's a way to get over that. Stephanie said, definitely don't say that. You can say whatever you want, but don't say Stephanie said. All right, so I just want to give you a quick couple notes on your meetings themselves, who you're going to be talking to, when you're in your groups, what some of the things are, the questions you should be asking to make sure you're prepared. Now, since a lot of your meetings or most of your meetings on the House side are going to be with staff people, and that's actually a good thing. How many people have met with staff in the past? Okay, how many people have found that sometimes is better than the grip and grin you get with the legislator, right? Hey, how you doing? Hey, it's great to see you. That's kind of the legislator thing. The staff people actually pay a little bit of attention to you. So, some tips on the staff. Talk to the right person. Now, for the most part, we ask for the transportation person. In some cases, they may not have been there. They may be the environmental person. So just make sure you know which person you're talking to and that you give them the materials that are relevant to them. Now, if you've got other stuff, you can give it to them and ask them to give it to the appropriate person. But talk to the right person. Secondly, remember that your issue is one of many, especially on the House side. When I was working for our friend Congressman Blumenauer, let's give him a round of applause. Yay! At one point, I handled transportation, energy, the environment, small business, campaign finance, animal welfare. I handled some other things. I don't remember what they were, but they were very important. And so I knew this much about everything. And so I relied on people like you to come into the office and demonstrate to me that you knew a lot about the things you were there to talk about, so that I could call you when the congressman was running down the floor and say, hey, are we for this or against this? And you would tell me, and then they'd vote that way. Staff contact has advantages over member contact. As I mentioned, the members are tired, they're grumpy, sometimes they're hungover, sometimes they've been indicted and they're not even there. Illinois, where are you? Yeah, you guys, you must be so proud. So meeting with the staff is great. Just always never feel like it's just a staff meeting. It's actually, I would say that if you're meeting with the member, it's just a member meeting, and meeting with the staff is going to move you a lot further along. Institutional memory can be very short. Turnover is very high, so my main point there is to be very, very nice to the 12-year-old at the front desk, because in 6 weeks they might be the chief of staff. And I'm not kidding, there are some offices where the turnover is that bad, and I will tell you if at some point when I don't have a microphone on me. And finally, expect and appreciate youth. Like I said, they're very young, but they are the best and the brightest, and they will pay attention to your issues, they will understand them, and they are definitely the people that you want to get to know. The only difference in meeting with staff over members is pronouns. So when you talk to members, you say, will you co-sponsor this? When you talk to staff, you say, will your boss co-sponsor this? There's not anything vastly different than that. I mean, don't go in and say, hey, you look 12. But understand that those pronouns are the main difference. The staff are sort of the appendages of the legislator. So that's kind of how you would approach that. Okay, so before you go, and when you're in your groups and you're trying to answer the right questions, a couple things. First of all, make sure that you understand who is relevant to the various offices that you're meeting with. And by that I mean whether you live or you work or you serve people in their district. Know enough about the projects and the programs in their specific district or in their specific state so that you know who should take the lead on a particular meeting. And I'd say, like, make a plan for each meeting about who should take the lead on it. Your story is absolutely critical to this process. That's what you're here to do. You're here to take the extremely strange things that happen in Washington, D.C. and bring them back to the local level. And that's, that's what the legislators are looking for. They don't, if you forget the bill number, if you forget the acronym, or if you can't remember that it's code 672 of, section 943, that's okay. You can just say, I don't know, but I'll get back to you. But what they want to know is how these things impact people in the district. And your impact on the community. So anything you have to say about work that you've done in the community, people that you've met with, other sort of charitable organizations that you work with, any of the programs, Safe Routes to School, whatever, talk about that impact on the community, because they really want to know how their constituents' lives are being improved by what you're doing. And a very, very smart man said, appeal to their heart, not their brain. Who is this? Frank Underwood in House of Cards. Now, I know you might not think that he is the best example of the political process. So don't do everything he does. Don't murder people, okay? That's wrong. I'm just going to go out there on a limb and say that is wrong. But he does have some interesting things to say, and this is a big one. Appeal to their heart, not their brain. All right, so 3 things to know about the legislators before you go in. So you know your stuff, you know about you. So knowing about the legislators, their committee assignments. And in some cases, that's on the app. In some cases, because it's such a new Congress, it hasn't been fed into the app. So it's in that cute little notebook that you have. So take a look at their committee assignments, because that's going to help you structure your argument to them. If someone's on the transportation committee, you're going to say very different things to them than you would to someone who's on the agriculture committee. And you're going to be talking to both, so just make sure that you understand that phenomenon. Their positions on our priorities, you've got some materials on that. So just one other thing I would suggest, and I don't know if this is in the materials, but to check to see if they're on the Congressional Bike Caucus, because that's always a great way to start a conversation, and that's one of the very easy yeses. And plus my old boss, Congressman Blumenauer, is one of the co-chairs, and he pays me extra to say things like that. Also take a look at their view of the world. Best way to do that, look at their websites and read their issue tab. There's usually something that says issues or something that says press releases. And when you read those, you will understand their view of the world and how they like to talk about things, the words that they use. And so even if they seem extremely, one side of the aisle or the other, if you know that going in, you can maybe fit some of that perspective. Because a lot of people go into meetings and they focus on what they want. They're like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, and they forget that they're talking to the person who could give it to them, and so they need to make sure that they understand why that person would do that, and that's what these 3 things help you do. So prioritizing those meeting messages. I know we've got a few asks, and you may be thinking, don't want to go into all of them. I want to touch on one. I mean, you do want to talk about all of them, but there may be ones you want to stress. So in your groups, just make sure you've started with what the legislator might be interested in. So that's where you might start the conversation, because that's really going to help you start off on a good foot with them. And if they've already supported the issue, say thank you and move on. You don't have to have a big, long conversation with them about how wonderful they are. I mean, they like that, but there's other things that would be a better use of time. Who in your group lives, works, and serves in the district, so make sure that you've figured that out in your group so that you can sort that out. And what issue do you have the best story for? So if you've got a really good appropriation story, use that one. And even, you definitely want to be able to work that in. And then when you take a look at these 3 different spheres, you're going to find a sweet spot right in the middle for that particular legislator that is the thing that you should really be focusing on. So that's just for your groups as you're getting together. And then who has the best follow-up plan? Before you walk in the door, you should have an idea of what you would want that legislator to do at home. So it might be going on a ride, it might be supporting a new program, it could be Safe Routes to School, it could be anything. But know what that follow-up plan is before you walk in the door, so that when they say, well, we're not sure how we feel about the policy issues, but what else can we do? You have an answer that's not like, I don't know. So make sure you've got that. Follow-up is important because, once again, according to our friend Frank Underwood, you can't turn a no to a yes without a maybe in between. So sometimes you're going to be meeting with legislators who you don't like very much. So Do not say that to them. That's a thought that stays inside your head, and there's other things you say into the world. But remember, and I've said this to many of you before, even if you don't like them, even if they're terrible, awful people, even if you never want to step foot across their threshold, still meet with them, because at least you are taking up their time, right? It's time they could be using to do horrible things to other people, and you are in there taking it up. All right. So with that, I want to let you guys get into your groups and start to go forth and advocate. But I do want to tell you something on a more serious note, which I know is unusual for me, but it does happen. So, in the last several years, as Congress has become more and more intransigent and things are harder to get done, and some of the groups that are naturally the ones I support are not having a really good experience right now, I've kind of sort of been like, I don't know how I feel about advocacy anymore. It's just serious. Because, it's frustrating, and I'm not feeling like things are getting done, and, that frankly, sometimes the American people irritate me. I mean, not you guys, but a lot of other ones. But then I was coming to this, and I was preparing, and I was thinking about what I wanted to say to you guys, and I thought, wow, if anyone's going to make me feel better about advocacy, it's you guys, right? Because you've been here 15 times, and look at what you've achieved in that period of time. Like, no one even thought about bikes in the federal policy process before you were here. And every single year, I feel like you've got bike ped safety, you've got safe routes to school, like you've achieved things in this particular legislative environment. So on that serious note, I really want to thank you for restoring my faith in the advocacy process. I'm over my crisis. And I do really appreciate it. So get ready for your meetings. And what was one of the most important things that you're not supposed to do in your meetings? Don't embarrass Stephanie. What didn't I say?
You didn't say anything. I don't even know who you are.
Okay, yeah. You not going to the meetings, okay? All right, but the most important thing, don't embarrass Stephanie. Everyone repeat after me. Don't embarrass Stephanie. All right, good. Go out there, get him. Thanks so much.